Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Lindsey, Shane, and I are back. We're here for Survivor 50, finally the premiere recap. And on with us, we got some special guests. We got Mike Turner from Survivor 42 back on with us, and Heidi from Survivor 44. Welcome both of you to the Tribe of Nerds.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Me too. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, we always have a good time when we come on to your podcast, the Tribe of Nerds. We love it.
Thank you so much. It's really great to just have guests on and talk with you guys about your time on the show and talk about the new seasons every single time. So yeah, so let's get into it. This premiere, I mean, we got this epic opening. I mean, what were you guys' thoughts on this opening and this episode of Survivor 50?
Well, I always say any new season of Survivor is extremely exciting. And now you have season 50, the season of all seasons, the most iconic players in the history of the show on one season together. And what do you think? Honestly, I couldn't even sit waiting for the episode to start. It was amazing in anticipation.
Yeah, I think so. It was a good episode. I was dreading the fact, I'm not gonna lie, I was dreading the fact they said it was 3 hours. Yeah. So for a moment, I was really nervous that I was gonna be bored. But by no means, it went so fast. Yeah, it was a good episode. I think they kicked it off in a good way, and I hope that the rest of the season gets better and better.
Yeah, I agree. I think they hit all the points. I mean, the montage in the beginning was, and honestly, it made me reflect on my Survivor journey of just being a fan, watching it, and then it led right up to the new era. And then they gave you a piece of everybody throughout the 3 hours, so it was amazing.
Yeah, I feel like everybody got at least a confessional. Like that's pretty rare, even in all-star seasons, for every single person to get like a bit in the premiere. And so I love that we got something from everyone.
I agree.
Everyone deserved it, to be honest. I mean, yeah. I can imagine the new era that are going back. It's like the things you did wrong, you want to do better. And then for the people that are from the old era, most of them were there multiple times. So I'm sure they were like super excited to be back. So yeah, it was a good one.
And there's also an adjustment for old era and new era. New era saying, okay, we got to experience the fast pace of the game, and now what can we do better? But old era saying like, holy crap, we have no time to rest. This is amazing. There's no day off. We're going boom, 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 like machine gun fire. It was amazing.
Yeah.
They will feel it, Mike, they will feel it more and more because back in the day, they didn't get a break. I mean, they used to get a break. Now it's, they're in for a ride. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Back in the day, you had time to at least analyze and think about things. Now, like you literally between confessionals and day after day, you maybe have 45 minutes to try and get your head together and make a decision that's going to be life and death in the game.
Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that they broke a little bit of their pattern, how because it was 3 hours, we saw the tribal council and you still have, 40 minutes, a half hour after that. So it's like, how are they going to stop it? And obviously we saw that, spoiler alert, right? So we saw what happened towards the injury at the end. So they ended up with that. But at the same time, I kind of like that it breaks the pattern. Give it to me different. Don't give me the same over and over and over again. Give it to us different, end it on a cliffhanger, right? So I kind of like it. Like, don't end it always. They'll end it always in just a tribal council and got kicked out. So I like that they changed that up a little bit.
Yeah. So now it's funny you say that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jake. Because when I saw the tribal come up and I looked at the clock, I said, holy crap, this is going to be a long, crazy tribal. Because usually you could tell how bad a tribal is going to be, how long they have left to go in the episode. So this is going to be a 45-minute freaking tribal. But obviously it wasn't. And I was, I realized it was because Kyle was being medevaced out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We'll definitely get to that. Lindsey, I wanted to get your take as a fan. I mean, we obviously haven't had the experience as players as Mike and Heidi have, but just as a fan getting to watch this opening and just like, I'm sure you had all the feels as well.
All the feels, like as much as I do like 48 and 49, I'm a new ender fan, a new era fan and defender. But 50 brought me my joy back. It's what I felt with 40 at Winners at War. 41, we finally get Survivor and COVID. I felt that with 50. I was so excited. We Survivor joy out the wazoo.
Yeah, 100% agree. Shane, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it was really exciting to watch this because I'm someone that watched, in May 2001, episode 1, I was watching from then on. So to see them do that montage is really special to celebrate the history of how we got to where we are. Because to even say it's 50 seasons, that's crazy. And I know when the cast was released, we all had our own feelings about it, that it wasn't fully representative of where we are, but I feel like after seeing the first episode, they did a really good job of representing all the eras of Survivor and how we got here. So my favorite part was definitely that montage of Matt chat. Although it was almost a half hour, it just breezed by because it was so great to watch.
It's amazing. Happy tears are flowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? They also showed people I was surprised they showed. You know what I mean? I mean, Russell Hands, he had a big impact on the show, and they showed him despite the fact that probably in the Survivor fandom, he's not as popular.
Right.
But he was, and they showed him. And I appreciate that because
I did too.
they didn't just eliminate people because of who they were. They represented the show.
Yes.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the Boston Rob show, basically. Because you
True.
could imagine a world where they only show Boston Rob. And I mean, of course, they showed a couple moments and they had to, but I like that they showed, like you said, a little bit of everybody.
It was a great reflection of the eras that played Survivor through the last 25 years.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything negative about it in general. I think everyone loved it, including myself. Actually, I made it there for like a millisecond, maybe 2 seconds. But I was going to say also, I think when I was looking at the clock, knowing the episode was going to be 3 hours, I think we were like an hour in and we still hadn't gone through the challenge. And I was like, wow, but I was engaged, right? So that made me like really excited. And maybe on like popular opinion, and I would love to hear Lindsey, Jake, Shane, what you think. There were a couple of 49 seasons, from the new era that I felt it felt slow, right? It felt like, okay, you kind of, it's predictable, it's slow, they're just making us think it's between two people and you kind of know what's going to happen. But this one was more along the lines of like, at no point I felt like, okay, hurry up, I don't know, I want you to get it. I don't know, it just felt like it was a good pacing, good storyline. We all know everyone, so a lot of people we love. So yeah, it was super exciting, and I really hope it goes that way for the whole season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I loved the getting into it, and just like we haven't had a true Matt chat in my opinion since Heroes versus Villains. I feel like Jeff hasn't just like stood there and like talked about their legacy with the show, and I just thought that there was something super special that like even Winners at War didn't really do it as much as this season did, in my opinion. So
Jake, can I break your cycle here? Maybe I'll ask a question to Mike from player to player. I know when you get in the on the island, when they maroon you or when you just land there and they start filming, it feels so fast. Like, oh my God, I'm here. Let's go. Like you go into like the first thing right away. I love the way they did it with the big boat, everyone together. I read they really tried to bring the helicopters, but they couldn't do it. So the helicopters would have been epic. Let me say it out loud. But do you feel like when you got to the island for the first time, it just like happened so quickly? So
yeah,
hard
well,
to
you kind of wait as fans, and guys, by the way, you can hear that me and Heidi are Survivor fans.
Yes.
We're fanning out just like you guys are. We're not sitting here. I'm not sitting here as a former player, and I'm sure we're fanning out. But Heidi's right. So when you get there, from being a fan, everything from seeing Jeff just walk out, which you've watched, for us, we watched like 41 times, and then you're there. It's so surreal that you kind of like, what the heck is going on right now?
Right, thank you.
And it goes so fast, and all of a sudden, like, we're gonna do a challenge. Like, oh, then you say, like, you almost say, should I volunteer to go? Should I not volunteer to go? You're almost like, oh, you get crazy in your head for that minute. So, yes, it felt like for us, no time had passed, but I can tell that Jeff took his time, spoke to everybody, get everybody acclimated, because the truth is, this is at least everybody's second time. They understood what was coming.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. What about you, Heidi? Like in terms of like the same question that you asked Mike, like how was your feeling there?
Yeah, I think I asked that because it brought me back the memories, right? When I got out of my boat, and in my season, we had 3 boats, one for each tribe, and you get out, and he's like asking questions, this and that, what's your name? So it was different. And then you go into a challenge, and for mine, Bruce got hurt in the first freaking 10 minutes, 15 minutes we were there. So it was a little bit too fast, so hard to kind of like consume it all, right? And then not only that, you gotta meet everyone, so it just happens way too fast. So you obviously haven't been there more than once, but I would imagine when you're there the second time, you know the contestants and everything, so I would imagine that first day and when you step on it is a different feeling, right? It was still exciting, don't get me wrong, like watching it as a fan, just like Mike said, seeing everyone that we know being back there is exciting. I'm sure it was exciting for them. It was exciting as a fan to see them being there again. So yeah, no, but when you're living it for the first time, it's almost like you have to kind of like take a moment and consume it, because it happens way too fast.
By the way, I also want to say this. This is the first time as a player that I've seen a returning season. And I am so grateful because for the first time ever in any podcast I've ever done, I don't have to go crazy to try and remember everybody's name and what tribes they're on. I know everybody now. So I'm like, oh my God. Before I'm like, oh my God, I'm writing names down on pads, getting ready, who's which. Now I know them all. So it's amazing now to talk about because I understand who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah, and something I wanted to ask both of you is because you're both very well connected in the community. So what was it like seeing these people that you've become friends with and knowing? And Mike, I mean, you have Jonathan who you play closely with. Like, what's it like seeing these people you know personally and getting to play again?
It's for me, it's exciting. And you know, you would think as much as it's a show and people would be a little different, pretty much everybody is what you see is what you get in real life. So I'm just seeing the people that I've known and met and hung out with and talked to and talked Survivor with. They're all fans too, and they're all the people that they are off the show. So it's like you're seeing all your friends go to a nice big party, except you weren't invited. That's what it's like.
Oh no.
I agree. I think it's more exciting because you're like, my friends are the ones playing the game kind of feeling. So you're cheering for them. I'm sure we will cheer against them. But sometimes as a viewer, you are like, you should have not said that, or you should have not done that. Like Jenna going, hard at it and all of that. You're like, I'm sure they're showing it to us because it's going to be back for her game kind of thing. So I can kind of foreshadow what was going to happen a little bit. But I also think she was saying, at least from the edit, right? She was saying the things that were in people's mind. I'm sure she wasn't the only one thinking about it, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's different, but in a good way. It's just exciting to see what's happening.
Yeah, and just a little inside info. When Survivor players are together, we never tell each other how we would play the next time. So nobody would know that Jenna was thinking that way because we don't tell each other, because if we do get on the show together again, we already given our what we're gonna do away. So we kind of we'll be we'll do this, we'll do that, but we never say, well, I'm gonna make sure I don't do this again. I'm gonna go after that person. We don't do that because in Survivor, even outside the game, you can cut your throat without knowing you cut your throat.
Yeah. So now we get that opening reward challenge, which is, they have to get the key, they have to row out, and all of the steps that they had. And I just noticed, like, talking about Jonathan, I mean, Jonathan and Joe, for example, are just like pulling the boat in like 5 seconds across the water.
Beast.
That was
Beast
crazy.
Listen, you can't expect anything different. They're both unbelievable challenge beasts, and they're beasts. And obviously, Jonathan's amazing. I've watched it firsthand, and it's crazy. People don't understand. Like when you see Jonathan on TV, it's nothing compared to when you see it live. And even Q saw Ozzy and was like, "Wow, I thought it was good." But when you see that live, it's more amazing. Jonathan is 10 times that more to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about, do you think they made a mistake because I think their name is Callow, right? Jonathan's tribe.
Yeah, Jonathan's
They
tribe. Yep.
they felt behind in that challenge because they probably put certain people at the beginning and then the strength came at the end. So I think it was a little bit hard for them to kind of catch up, although they got close. If you think about it, they actually really caught up. But it was one of those where it's like maybe they didn't balance it as much as they should have. But that was maybe my opinion, right? I don't know if everyone agrees with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to like look at where they put people because I mean, what you're putting Riz God and who was it? Was it Aubrey with Rizzo or Genevieve that on the last part of it? I just think it's interesting where they put people. But like you can tell, like obviously they're gonna put Jonathan and Joe on like the boat portion because they know those two are gonna rock that portion for the tribes. So.
Well, the thing is, believe it or not, you don't have much time to decide what you're going to do and who you're going to put where. And it is season 50. There's a lot of egos there. So as a good player, you're not trying to step on anybody else's ego. So when somebody wants to do something, you kind of don't want to step in front of them and already make an enemy. So you kind of let it go that way. And I think that's why the first challenge, you don't have everybody in the places that you think are best for them because you don't know where you want to step on whose toes to make sure that it goes smoothly. That's the most important thing. There's no animosity after the first challenge. So I think that's the reason Camila went first, maybe, or Jonathan went late, did the boat portion, or Rizzo. I think that it's more let's feel it out, and it'll work itself out, and I think it will. But yeah, I don't think it was the best decision in the beginning where the placement of who did what where was for their tribes.
Shane, Lindsey, what about your thoughts on the opening challenge?
For me, it was a reminiscence of Heroes versus Villains because we saw Stephanie LaGrossa just go for it right away.
Yes.
And girl held her own. She was fantastic on her portion of that challenge.
Incredible.
Right there.
Incredible.
It was incredible.
Yeah, she was a beast.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It was nice to see that, like her, because the last time we saw her was Heroes versus Villains, where that first challenge was really like her only good moment that season because it was so short-lived. So like she's just picking up right where she left off, and that was 16 years ago. So it's like crazy to see her do so well. I mean, Colton came out strong. Like it was really great.
Yeah, I agree completely. I thought everybody ended up doing well, all things considered. Maybe not having the best matchups at certain points, but so the Vatu tribe ends up winning the challenge, which I definitely thought that they were. I mean, the other tribes are strong too, obviously, but I thought like all around the Vatu tribe is a pretty strong tribe, challenge wise and like puzzle wise. Like they kind of have it all. I feel like.
Unfortunately, they lost a big power guy, so that will be
unfortunately.
But they did a good job with the balancing. Sometimes I'm like, why would they put those people together? It's so unbalanced. 50 felt pretty balanced across. So yeah, but that too I think was strong. However, I do think it will be interesting to see what happens moving forward. But that one definitely seems like a strong. Even losing Kyle, I still think that will be a strong one.
I agree.
Yeah. So then we are going to get 3 people have to go on a journey, 1 from each tribe. Coach and Ozzy get their rematch from South Pacific.
Yes.
And they get to go on this journey, and then Q goes with them, and obviously Q is seen as like this coach type personality where he's like a more eccentric personality. So
yeah, that's true. But how many did you guys want to see Colby go with them?
Yes.
I want to see Colby go. I want it to be old school. There's some blood going on there. There's some thoughts, and remember it was Heroes versus Villains where Coach beat Colby and and they go back. To me, it would have been freaking epic and iconic if the 3 of them won. And they're old school players. I want to hear what they had to say to each other. Now, I love Q. Q's an amazing character. I just the old fan in me would have loved to have seen Colby go with them instead.
Right. Yeah, and I think also to speak to Mike, how you said you and Heidi, like although your players, your fans too, I think that showed with Rizzo, because Rizzo's over there like, oh, South Pacific. Like you just think he's such a fan of the show, but now he is also a player. So I think that was like one of the biggest changes with the new era, where the old era, some of these people just seem like larger than life. The new era, like we can relate to them all so well.
Yeah, I wish they would have shown us more of the dynamics of Ozzy and Q in the like. What did they do? They had nothing. They had to like sleep one night there. I just wish I would have seen it. We saw a lot about the tribes and the dynamics that first day, which I love. But I really wish I would have seen a little more about Q and Ozzy, how they got along, or what they said or whatever. They didn't give me enough there. I know they only had, I mean, they had 3 hours, for crying out loud, so much happening. But just a tiny little bit more. I don't know. I don't know. Are they like frenemies, good allies? I didn't see enough. I wish I did.
I agree.
I completely agree with that, because Exile Island, especially when they have people from each tribe go, is one of my favorite twists. So I was happy to see it back. But here it just seemed a little performative. Like they're like, oh, we know people like it, we're gonna throw it in, but like they didn't really focus on it. Because back in like Micronesia, Token Teens, like we had like big segments focusing on them at Exile Island, and those are 45-minute episodes. So how come we can't have it now? So yeah, I agree. Like it would have been really nice to see what happened between them.
Yeah. I think maybe it's because nothing it's gonna be important for the game. That's my best guess. But maybe they missed the opportunity. Q and Ozzy maybe missed an opportunity because you know
TV.
Yeah. It's just that first day they missed all the dynamics in their tribe. So I wish they would have done something together, right? But hey, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I loved seeing the return of Exile Island, and also like Lindsey and I talked about this on one of our preseason podcasts of like a twist we'd love to see back, and then it actually comes back. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Although I would have loved to see Coach have another return to Exile Island because it's such an iconic part.
It is iconic.
Of history.
My favorite episode of Survivor ever. But yeah, Jake, I screamed when Exile Island came up, and I thought of you in our podcast immediately. Like, we wanted this so badly. Thank you.
But yeah, I really wish Coach got to go, because Coach already seems so like fun and playful. Like even when he's leaving, he's like doing his like scream, and then he's like peekaboo, like trying to look under the thing to see what it was. Like imagine with that attitude if he was there with them, especially if it was Ozzy, it would have been amazing.
Can we talk about Coach stealing the key? Because as a viewer, I freaking loved it.
Me too.
Even to me, we need more of that, and it brings a little vendetta. As a player, if I was Ozzy, I probably would have hated it, right? I would have been like, that tells me I cannot play with him. But in all honesty, Coach was playing the game, right? Like,
I agree with you. I find nothing wrong with Coach did.
Yeah, he was like,
he didn't break any rules.
No,
exactly. I feel like Q would have done the same. To be honest,
if you look at it, they all were trying to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like Coach stole and they all stood there and said, "Nope, we're not." They were all trying to grab it, including Q. So listen, just because he got it, I'd be pissed too if he got it. But the bottom line is, he did what he had to do for the game for him, and that's really it.
Yeah.
Right. Like Ozzy should be mad at Q too, because Q was trying. Yes, Coach got it first, but like, why is he only mad at the guy that got it?
I agree.
Of the same intention.
Yeah. I have to assume also, because I was looking the way they were trying to get the key, and they were staying behind that, like, I don't know, wood or bamboo.
The fence.
It was the fence. I don't know what it was made of, but they were really behind and just like reaching over. I can think of a lot of different ways where you could like hold on with your legs and be closer with your entire body. But I have a feeling they probably couldn't do that, because I was just a little bit confused why they wouldn't try things differently. It just looked like they kept going for the same, right? But I'm sure there were probably rules behind what to do and what not to do. But I always think like in these challenges, like what would I have done different? And I totally would have done it different.
Yeah. I found it to be really fun for Coach to just steal it. I didn't really understand, like there's fans like on Facebook and whatnot that are like, oh, Coach like broke the rules and stuff like that. Like I just find it hilarious that
because
people
he
are.
stole it?
Yeah. You know what the thing is, obviously the honor game, and he's so on. Listen, the game is made to be deceitful.
Right.
But playing the game. Listen, you can have honor and play the game. If you're playing by the rules, then you're playing honorably. And if you don't break a rule, no matter what you do, you're still playing honorably.
Exactly.
I think Ozzy would have done the same. Like he's saying he wouldn't, but I truly think he would have.
I would have.
I would have too.
I mean, there's moments that Ozzy has had in his Survivor history where he's done like something a little deceitful. Like he literally threw the second challenge in Cook Islands to get rid of Billy. Like, I mean, he's done things that are kind of on similar wavelengths.
Yeah, let's not forget he let Jason have the stick and let him play it on national
Right.
TV.
Which is great.
Epic moment.
Yeah. So then we have Exile Island, and then let's go to the tribes themselves. So we have Vatu, and one of my favorite interactions that I was so anticipating, like in the lead up, was Rizgod and Colby, because you have Colby, the most old school player possible, and then you have Rizzo, who is like the most new school, and like, yeah. It was just so funny. Like immediately Rizzo is annoying Colby, and then like later on you're gonna get Colby being like, you know, I really like this kid, and like reminds me of me when I was 25 and played the first time, and like having like this father-son relationship I thought was really awesome. So
Okay.
Interaction.
But now that you said that, Jake, because you said reminds me of me. Colby said it, Rizzo does anybody that's watched Survivor, when they think a 25-year-old Colby, Rizzo comes into their head?
No.
I mean, I can't even believe they're the same age.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe I was a lot younger then, so Colby didn't look like a little boy to me, but Rizzo looks like a 12-year-old kid to me.
Yeah, Colby definitely looked older
too. Sorry, Shane, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Colby definitely looked older when he was 25 than Rizzo. And like,
yes,
he came off more mature. Like, not to say Rizzo's immature, but you know, like more kid-like character.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Colby's more of a stoic player in terms of here I am, and you know, obviously he was a huge player then, but you know, Rizzo's more of the little 12-year-old boy who gets into mischief and says things. They're just different players. So like when I think of Colby at 25, Rizzo's the last person I thought of at 25.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, listen, I think Rizzo's amazing. It's just he's not Colby, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. The demeanor, I think the demeanor is quite different, and their body types, even though they're probably close to the height, I think like, you know, Colby was a strong guy from the get-go, right? You know, Rizzo is not. Not that, you know, I'm saying anything against Rizzo, because I think he's very capable, but just different demeanors, and then you perceive them differently. So, but I would agree. I cannot picture them at the same level.
No.
Started.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference is Rizzo's thinking about strategy first, and Colby's thinking about challenge first. That's where their two personalities totally, which makes them two totally opposites in terms of being a Survivor player.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Shane or Lindsey, on this interaction?
Someone who also lives in Texas, Colby in season 2, he's like a 25-year-old guy from Texas, and Rizzo is very much a 25-year-old guy from New York. They're different personalities. Both
good point.
Are great, just very different.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I love their dynamics going beyond their similarities or whatever. The dynamics of Colby, like, this guy is annoying me. I could understand. I mean, as a mom, I can understand that. And then later on, that talks to actually Rizzo's game, because he's winning over Colby, right?
Yes.
He's like, oh, I spoke too soon. I'm kind of liking this guy, this kid, right? So I think it speaks loudly about Rizzo connecting with the people on the island. So that's kind of a fun thing to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I also think it's a testament to Colby's like social game too, because it shows he's able to like get over his preconceived notion and connect with a bunch of people, which I think was something a lot of fans, and myself included, were a little worried for Colby coming into this season, but he's showing a huge step in the right direction compared to when we saw him last.
Yeah.
This is definitely a much more fun Colby than I've been used to seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this Colby.
His headspace seems a lot better than the past 2 times. So, and then the other big stuff that happens on Vatu, Kyle's forming all these quick alliances, which it's disappointing what happens at the end of the episode, because for Kyle to be the winner that everybody most recently saw, because they didn't see 49, and like for people to know that he has Camilla on one of the other tribes and Joe, who like he worked with, and for him to be in such a good position prior to what happens to him is just amazing. Like I have such good things to say about Kyle. I think his stock definitely rose more in this one episode. Like thinking back on it, like even thinking back to 48 when he won.
I agree. I think Kyle's amazing. I think he has a very strong social game, and yet he looks very physical, so it's deceiving. He speaks very well. He knows how to charm. He's very likable. To me, he's always seems a very strong threat. And honestly, I thought he would have did very well if he didn't get hurt.
I agree. Even though he's a winner, which
He's very likable.
Very, very likable. And I can speak about myself. I like him too. You're right.
Me
Like,
too.
yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. And I think Kyle already was coming into this game like overlooked. Like, in my opinion, I think he might be the strongest of the new era winners. And like everyone kind of views D as that. But like Kyle played amazingly, but like he didn't have as big of a target as D had. And like now that he's essentially getting 23rd place by no fault of his own, if he comes back, I think he's going to be overlooked even more. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, you went out last time.
Yes.
But that will really help him. So if either of you two are there and he comes back, remember that because he could easily be a two-time winner.
Yeah.
Good looking out, Shane.
Yeah. Talking about Batu, I want to talk real quick about Genevieve because
yes.
When Genevieve was in her season, I remember being in one of the podcasts and talking about her, how like they never showed me Genevieve before. They showed Genevieve like really, really late, and then we now know how well she did. I love that we got a lot of Genevieve, and she talked about I want to be Genevieve 2.0 and connect with people, whatever. What I saw, I actually really enjoyed Genevieve in this first episode. It was surprising that we barely saw Aubrey, but I also love the rivalry between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I am kind of excited to see what happens between the two of them. And yeah, I was impressed by how much I saw of Genevieve in episode 1.
And she was extremely likable.
Extremely likable.
Extremely warm. I mean, I honestly, and to be fair, I didn't know much about Genevieve at all as a person. I learned more in this one episode than I think I did in a whole season that I saw her. So, you know, I really like Genevieve a lot. I thought she did extremely well. You could see that she's working on her social game to connect with people, and it's coming off very naturally, as opposed to someone who tries too hard where it doesn't. It comes off very natural for her, which is very good.
Yeah, and if you compare, and I'll say this, this will be my last comment about her, but if you compare her with like Stephanie, Angelina, and Aubrey, she was probably shown more than any of the ladies in that tribe. And I would have never in a million years expected that from all of them because they're all amazing in their own ways. I am with you, Mike. Give me more Genevieve. It was exciting to get to know her. Give us more. I need more of Genevieve. Anyway, back to you all.
I think Genevieve reminds me of like she's like the new era version of Kim Spradlin. Like I feel like she has that way of playing the game that Kim sort of did. I think Kim was a little bit better at connecting to people because Genevieve said herself, like in her season, she had a little bit of a tougher time with like her emotional connections. I'm interested in this Aubrey and Genevieve rivalry because like that's something I did not expect, and I feel like Aubrey was pretty standoffish to Genevieve, and I don't think that bodes well for Aubrey's chances here.
Yeah, Mike and Heidi, just a question to both of you around that. Was there something as viewers you think we missed with Aubrey and Genevieve beefing right away, or do things happen that quickly on the island? You get a bad vibe and things change?
I thought it was a little quick. I'm not gonna. I didn't see. It seemed like they showed that on purpose for some reason. I'm trying to figure out why. But the truth is, normally, especially Aubrey's a very smart player. Obviously, she's extremely social. And even if she felt that way towards Genevieve, she wouldn't have been that expressive in that way to make her think, ooh, I don't think we can, whatever. I think there's something going on here. And it was, but Aubrey doesn't strike me as the person from what I've seen and understood that would let it be that visible. And that's what surprised me. It can happen that quickly, though. There are people out there that you knew within, 15 seconds, I can't work with that person, and they're your target. That's the way. It just sometimes people rub you the wrong way, just like in real life. And there's other times where you meet somebody in 5 seconds, you say, I want to hang out with them forever. So it can happen quickly, though.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But maybe it's foreshadowing for something coming. And like you know how it is. Like from an edit perspective, if you put certain things, it gets a little more accentuated than it actually really happened. So I'm with you. Like, why would they show us that? I bet you there's something coming. And I am a little surprised that Aubrey like did it exactly the way it was shown. But I'm here for it. As a viewer, I don't mind it. I like that. I mean,
Hell
whether it
yeah.
happened or not, give me more. Give me more of that.
Yeah, I agree completely. We'll see how it plays out. Let's head over to one of the other tribes. Let's head over to the Sela tribe. And we get an alliance, kind of the nerdy alliance. We get Rick Devens, Christian, and Emily Flippin. Like, this is another fantastic alliance.
I freaking love it.
Yeah. I think they're so fun together. You know, Christian being like Spock, and I like all three of them, so I'm excited.
And how much are you loving Christian, right? I mean, he's you know what? He's engaging. He's funny. He makes you feel the warmth. He talked about his son.
Yes.
You know, it makes you reflect on your life. He was amazing. And you know what the biggest thing is? He was humble. You know, he was humble. He acted like a fan and didn't act like he was, you know, like, I'm on 50 and look what he was very humble. And I loved it. I love that all about him. Good dude. You could see, you know what? You want to cheer for him. You want to.
Yeah.
And Devens is it's funny as hell, and he makes me laugh just looking at him, and he's engaging, and I want to hang out with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think I mean that had to be on purpose, putting at least Christian together with Emily, right? I don't know when I think of Devens, if I think of him as like a nerd, it just doesn't come in my mind that way. But more like Christian and Emily together, I think had to be like, okay, these two, we have to put them together. And I love the dynamics for sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
I love Emily too. I love the three of them together. I'm always, and I hate to say they're an underdog because I don't think they're under. I think they're strong, but they're sometimes they're viewed as underdogs because the bottom line is, you know, the truth is, deep inside, I'm a nerd. I love nerd stuff, and so I love seeing them come out and own it and play the game that way. And I don't see them as being underdogs at all. I think they're very strong.
Yeah, and if you look back at like Devens' first season, he was really aligned with David Wright, and like Christian and David Wright have a lot of the same characteristics, so it's not too surprising now to think that like you would gravitate towards Christian. So I could definitely see them being a really tight pair and doing well together because they both have like the strategic mind, and they also both have like a playful side to them, where Devens, especially we saw last time, which hopefully it doesn't put a threat on him, because you even saw in like the match chapter, like, oh, I bet there's an idol under his foot or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him.
Like, to add to that, like, Emily learned a lot from playing with Caleb, and she played with him for half of her season. And then we saw Christian play with Gabby for most of his season. So it's familiar territory for all of them. So that has to be comforting when you're on there on an island to out-deceive everybody.
I love to see the growth of Emily because I think she struggled so much in the first few episodes from her original season, and then seeing her kind of just like flourishing and being a different player. She seems like a different player. So it's like that whole growth from like day one of her previous season to now is like incredible to see. As a fan, I think I love it. So
Emily's one of my favorite players of all time. I really loved the growth. And I hate to say growth. You know what? It was in her already. It just looked like it was growth to us because we're watching it on TV. But I think she's amazing. I think she's funny. I think she is way cooler than she gives herself credit for.
I agree, but I agree with all of that because I love her. But when I watch her playing, and I remember she had this giant vendetta against Bruce and all these other things that were happening in her season. I was like, she's killing her own game. Why?
Yeah.
Girl, don't say that. Or, in my head, I was like, she made a lot of mistakes and she like survive throughout it. And so it was cool to see that now she's like making alliances right away. And they haven't shown me any mistakes for her, even though they did that before. Like all the time, it was all about her mistakes. So even though you're saying maybe it's not growth, I would agree, because personally, I really love her. From a player perspective, I do think like she made some mistakes the previous season whenever she was on.
Yes, that's a fair point.
Yeah. And then the other big story is, of course, that Jenna Lewis, coming back from season 1 and season 8, I mean, she is now gunning for Cirie Fields. We know Cirie is a Survivor legend. And I'm not surprised by Jenna coming out of the gates hot, because in All Stars, she did that and gunned for Tina Weston immediately in the winners. So I feel like this is on par for Jenna. Unfortunately, that's just not going to work anymore, in my opinion, clearly. So what are your guys' thoughts on Jenna?
I agree. She came out too hot, man. You can't go after a legend in Survivor, especially since you have another old-time player there in Ozzy who can be connected. And you have other players that, quite frankly, every time somebody's gunned for Cirie wins.
Yeah.
So you can't come, if you're a player and you know this, you can't openly go, because other players, especially new era, are going to be a little, I don't know, I hate to use the word intimidated, but weary of going after Cirie. They're going to back off. They're going to say, it's too early. Here's the one thing we don't want. We don't want to be the first one out of Survivor 50. So let me lay low a little bit, just a little bit, and not go after one of the biggest guns in the freaking West. Leave it alone. And that's why I think she made her mistake.
Yeah. I love that they brought her back. We really needed someone from season 1. Let's be honest. It didn't matter who it was. I truly think you needed someone from season 1. So I'm glad she's here. I am a little biased with my comments perhaps now that what I'm about to say, because I saw her exit interviews and I was reading a lot of what she said. But she was saying how she wasn't the one who said Cirie's name first. Obviously, I wasn't there. Don't know if it was true or not true. Independently, whether she said it first or it was Christian or whoever, they still show her saying Cirie's name, right? It doesn't matter if it was first, second, or at the end, or whatever. But I am with Mike. Like Cirie, it's a big name. I know it's in everyone's mind. It's in everyone's mind that, she's going to be a threat. You cannot fall in love with her like everyone does every season, right? Every show, not just Survivor, and every show, everyone loves her. So it's going to be a threat. I was surprised they would go for Cirie instead of like the winner, right? Going for Savannah or someone that maybe you don't have a connection with. So I was surprised by that too. Obviously, we saw what happened. When you say Cirie's name, you got to be careful. But I have to be honest, I am a challenge. I love the challenges. And as a player, I love doing the challenges. If I was there, I probably would have somehow implied Cirie too, because we saw what happened in the challenge. And you do know that she's going to hold them back in some of the challenges. But Cirie, so I probably would have been very careful on how to, tell people that we need a strong tribe. I probably wouldn't even said her name. I probably would have implied the fact that we need strength so we don't start losing numbers. It was a good episode though. I love that she went hard, and I don't blame her for going hard. I kind of, props for her to go hard. I think in 50 you cannot just hold back. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for her.
Hey, listen, she went out a blazing. She didn't go out meekly, and that's better. So
yeah, I did love hearing it was like a remix version, but hearing the old Tribal Council music as well was like so fun. So it was a nice callback.
Yeah, but I think Jenna definitely had still a little bit of like that old school mentality of saying like, oh, this person messed up the challenge, let's go for them. And in the new era, that like isn't really a thing anymore, because everyone has their own strengths, and it might not be your strength one day, but it might help you the next day. But I think like she should have gone about it differently, because like you were all saying, I mean, Cirie is Cirie, and like it's smart to take her out because she's always going to go far usually, but you have to do it the right way and know that you have to like execute perfectly. So in my opinion, it would have made more sense to try to build unity first and go for someone like Savannah, because Savannah won, but also she's just this unknown. From all the pregame interviews, everyone was worried about her and Rizzo, and now it seems like nobody's worried about her, when she's literally telling everyone she won and nobody saw her game. So I feel like Jenna should have tried to do that, build the unity and build trust with people. And then once you really have trust with people, make the big for Sari, but don't do it when you don't really know what people's intentions are.
Right.
That makes sense, but does that speak to Savannah's social game? Because I thought she'd be the first one targeted.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I mean, it's a little weird on this tribe. I think they have. I thought it would be more like old era against new era, and I was shocked that the old era will go with the old era, or like that was surprising. But maybe it's because they know each other in some ways. Like, okay, I know she's a threat. But yeah, I was a little shocked they didn't go old era against new era.
Yeah,
and to be fair, it doesn't seem like anybody's doing that, or openly. We haven't seen it. Doesn't seem like anybody's trying to pit old era against new era at all, which I like a lot. People are just playing the game, because I hate when you get just because of numbers, you get, you get voted off because you're not in the right number order. So, but I don't see it as much as I thought I might see it, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering if like they would come in and be like, oh, well, the last returning player season, all the old school got taken out in a row. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. But at least from what we saw, it doesn't seem to be on anyone's mind.
No.
Right. No. And I also thought that Savannah gave up that she won the last season too easily. I'm like, why are you telling them this?
Yeah.
Say you did well. Obviously, they know you did something because you're on 50, but you don't have to tell them you won, and you seem so happy to tell them. It seemed like to me.
But Mike, let me be devil's advocate. Rizzo, it's from her season, right? He will tell people that she won. Like even if she didn't come, like if she's also lying from the get-go, I think she would have lost the trust from her people from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either way. I think that she's a target because they don't know who she is. Now she told them she won, so now they not only not know who she was and what she did to get there, and she decided not to tell them about the 4 immunity necklaces she put around her neck. But so Rizzo's going to tell them that. So I just think that she could have, just to last longer, because Rizzo's not on her tribe, just to try and ease it and say, yeah, I did well, saying, I did good, until somebody says, well, where'd you place? Then you can give it up. And instead of just being so like, there was crickets. How do you think I did? Crickets, nothing. And you go, oh, you guys will find out sooner or later, and then let it go.
Yeah, because she's always going to be a target. If we look back at season 34, Aubrey and Ty played the previous season. People may or may not knew how they did. They ended up doing really well. We look back at fans versus favorites. Malcolm played the previous season. He did really well. Same thing with Russell on Heroes vs. Villains. There's a history of people that have played before doing well the next season. So I just don't see how she wasn't the immediate target.
Yes.
And it was interesting because it's all an edit, right? But at least the way they showed it, it seemed like she just offered up the information. It wasn't like they asked her how she did, which is
exactly what I thought.
But one thing I did notice, like comparing her and Rizzo, both coming in as unknowns, is Savannah seemed to come in and basically be like, I'm one of you. Acted like an equal with them all, where Rizzo came in and he's acting like the fanboy. He's like, oh, I look up to you, all of you. Like, I'm not worthy of this. Where Savannah just right side by side with them. And honestly, in my opinion, it might serve Rizzo better because he's going to be underestimated and they're going to be like, oh, well, he looks up to me. I can take him in and drag him. So they're not going to vote him out, but they'll vote her out.
Right. And you know what? Rizzo is coming off as like the happy 12-year-old boy. I'm just happy to be at the party. Yeah. And, it lowers his threat level. And, he must have been the character on 49. They don't look at him where Savannah's coming off very strong, very serious. Now they know she won. She's presenting herself in a much more threatening way than Rizzo is, where he's just like the kid that's come to the party and he's a little kid. Put him at the kids' table, he's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So then let's go to Kahlo, and the biggest story from this is that Mike White is shredded.
Does look pretty damn good. He should have tanned up a little though before he got on.
But he was tossing rocks at the challenge like it's not fake abs. He is shredded.
Yeah,
it's great.
Bitch. He's got some nerve. You know what? Like, he's got some nerve. He has White Lotus. He's on for season 50, and he gets shredded. I'm a little pissed about this.
Yeah. I mean, that tribe already has.
I mean, how much more can that guy get? I mean, give me a break. Leave some for us.
Yeah, I was like, I also love like Mike says that, or Mike takes off his shirt, and then you have Charlie who like he runs marathons, and he's like, he has his shirt off, he's like feeling his stomach at the same time.
Oh, I'm here for it. I love it.
I gotta tell you, speaking of Mike White, I love how light he came out in terms of personality. Listen, he seemed very genuine. I had to come. I was gonna have FOMO. I heard it was a great party. Saying, hey, listen, we're here to have a good time. I want to make sure if somebody comes up, I don't want that. To be honestly, I freaking would love to freaking hang out with him, and not just thinking on White Lotus, but just he seems like a good dude. And that's how. Listen, he's also one of my favorite players. So I was glad to see, and I didn't know who the hell he was on his first season. Until I thought he was just famous for School of Rock. But now with White Lotus, obviously he's a big deal, and he didn't come on with any airs about who he was, and you would never know what he was, but if you met him just on the show and you had no idea. And I love that about him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I just recently, actually, like yesterday, I saw him giving a speech. He won some sort of award for his job, and I saw him talking. His speech was about Survivor, how in Survivor you have to, kind of go slow and don't show your cards or not show your strength, essentially. So he was receiving the award, and he's like, please, I don't want to, don't take me as a big dude or anything important anymore, because I want to lower my threat. I think that's the way he said it. I want to keep my threat low. So winning this award is kind of strange. And I think he's coming back to Survivor with that same thing, which is his strategy. I mean, clearly he's talking in his speech about it, and it's like he wants to be a low threat for everyone. And I am with you, Mike. He's coming across very authentic, low, threat. Everyone loves him. He seems like a guy I want to hang out with too, right? Not because he's job or anything like that. He just seems kind of cool and funny. So yeah,
have fun with him.
It's a perfect strategy for him, because I would like to keep him around if I was there.
And you know what? He seems like he would make fun of me, and I can make fun of him. Yeah. And that's fun.
Yeah. But in that tribe, I think the only winner, D, was the only one who we heard in the episode 1, people saying we got to go for the winner. We didn't hear it about Kyle. We didn't hear it about Savannah, even though she was up front with everyone that she won. But we heard it against D. Don't know if, again, that was part of the edit or not, but definitely we heard it on that one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because, if I'm there, I also would try to, if you don't want to lose anybody else, maybe, unless I'm aligned to the winner, I do think that will be my first person in my mind. Like,
right,
go for the winners.
It's easy to gun for D because of that, and like for a lot of those people on that tribe, I mean, you have like 3 people at least who made it to the finals and lost. You have Charlie, Mike White, Chrissy, and then you're gonna have people like Jonathan, who is already a challenge beast. Like I definitely feel like D is like the mark for a lot of people there.
Yeah,
agreed. So real serious question for you, Mike and Heidi. If you're on the beat on that tribe, would you put on Coach's toe ring?
Hell yeah, I would. I would in a second. I'd put it on my tongue if you want. Listen, I'm a Survivor fan. Coach is legendary in my head. Like, Coach says to me, hey, I got this toe ring. Come here, bro. What do you want me to do? I'll do whatever you want with it. I'm hanging out with Coach, and I'm putting the Dragon Slayer's ring on his toe ring back on my toe. I may not give it back, and he might have to fight me for it.
I would too. And just like Mike said, he's the legend of this tribe, right? I mean, you have Mike White, etc., but Mike White is not the legend of Survivor quite yet, right? So I think the legend of that tribe is absolutely Coach, and I would just be there. Would I do I would be like, teach me your moves, right? I would do anything, because it's so iconic. So this one I would totally.
And you can see he's eating it up, man. He's eating it up. He's like it's dessert after a long dinner, and he's just chowing on that ice cream. He loves when they talk like this to him, and he loves it, and that's why we love him, because Listen, you're always going to get a good show from Coach, and hell yeah, I'd wear his toe ring. I'd wear all his toe rings. I don't care. Coach is putting a toe ring on my toe. That's been on his since 1988. I'm in.
Oh my gosh, Jake! New merch ideas. We're dropping toe rings to all of our guests. This is
Sure.
happening
Yeah,
going
you
forward.
can buy Tribe of Nerds toe rings.
And I got to be honest with you, I didn't even know there was such a thing as toe rings. I'm not going to be honest, but if he has one, I'm putting it on.
And then, you know, I think then you have Chrissy, who is saying that she wants to be super strategic, and she's talking to Coach, she's talking to Mike, she's talking to Jonathan, and trying to get like this core together. So I was impressed to see Chrissy go back at it. And then something that really impressed me is Jonathan vocalizing like wanting to be more strategic this time. And after having just rewatched 42, Mike, like I was actually impressed more on the rewatch of picking up on Jonathan's strategy a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Jonathan on season 42 is way more strategic than he got credit for. So when he says he wants to be more strategic, he was already strategic in my mind. We worked a lot of angles together. So, I mean, honestly, I think Jonathan's going to play a great game. I think he's on point, and if he's worked on his strategic game, he's going to be even better this time.
He seems to be forming more relationships with the old school people than the new school, which was surprising to me but I mean, yeah, so I don't know what will happen, but I think he seems pretty well aligned. He seems to be making friends, etc., with them, even if it's the old school versus the new school. So to the point that I said earlier, I thought it would be more, old school against new school. I don't see that, and I'm loving that I don't see that. So they're all playing the game hard.
Yes. Even if it doesn't appear that they are. You can see it.
Yeah. All right, and then the other story before the immunity challenge. So we have Q losing his vote to Ozzy. They have to convince the other to be willing to give up their vote to the other for an extra vote and camp supplies. And so Ozzy convinces Q to do that for him. I mean, I think for Ozzy, it boosts his stock even more. And like this is where we get like Ozzy being like, I'm Oscar now. I'm changing up my game.
I love it.
So it's definitely something that I was nervous for Ozzy going in. So I'm happy he's realizing he needs to change things up.
Yeah, well, Ozzy personally shocked me the most from this first episode in every possible way. I mean, he was humble Oscar. He was social Oscar. He was strategic Oscar. And guess what? He was still challenge beast Ozzy. Yeah. He went out there and he still kicked ass as Ozzy, as a challenge beast. But Oscar, so if he's playing that split personality thing, he's doing it well. I honestly think he was the best player in the episode. He showed to me, the most growth of anybody that I've seen in my Survivor fandom. And, a lot of people say, well, I'm going to do this time, but you are who you are. But Ozzy's actually bringing out Oscar, and Oscar's really being that social, strategic guy that's playing the game smartly. Even he's almost like the hurt lamb sometimes, playing it that way, where he's not as tough as people thought he was, which I love. I think he's playing great. I thought, to me, he was one of the best players, if not the best player of the episode.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Do you guys love his hair?
His mullet, his Shambo hair.
I don't know what the heck that was. Yeah, I loved it.
Sorry,
but listen, hey, I'll say this: if Oscar keeps playing the way he's playing, you're gonna see a lot of males wearing that haircut. You're gonna see a lot of Shambos out there.
Oh my gosh, I'm not showing my husband this episode, man.
Listen, if I could grow it back, I'd grow like nice, thick, curly mullet a la Oscar.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Shane,
I don't know why he has that hair though, because like I've seen him after the season, like at watch parties, and he doesn't have that hair anymore. So I don't know if that was just his plan to do something crazy for TV or what.
I feel like he wanted to stand out. You have to imagine you go to 50, it's gonna be hard to stand out. So why not? Let me give it.
See, I don't think any of that. I think he thought it looked good, and he thought he was going to go out there in 50 and show this new hairstyle. And he might still think it looks good. And you know what? He keeps playing the way he's playing. It's going to look great.
Yeah.
That's true. I love seeing that he still has it in him. He like climbed that thing really fast, and then I had to jump in the water and all. It all looked like yes. He's killing it, and he has it. I cannot wait to have a swimming challenge against Ozzy and Jonathan. I am waiting for that. Please give it to me. It doesn't matter what episode, but I really hope we see that. And Mike, you know exactly what I mean, right?
So, I definitely know what you mean. Listen, and I said it before, Jonathan's the greatest challenge beast I ever saw. Ozzy was the reigning champ. And I love Ozzy, but my money's still on Jonathan.
Yeah, for swimming. I mean, in strength, obviously, Jonathan is big Jonathan, right? But a swimming one, something in the water where they both had to go like head to head. I really hope that the 50 gods, the Survival 50 gods, give it to us.
I can't wait.
That's what I'm praying for that we get.
Cannot wait for that. And let's just throw Joe in the mix too, just for funsies.
Yeah,
I mean, comparison.
again.
Yeah, no, Joe. You know that, but that's good for Joe. When you got two people like Ozzy and Jonathan out there, you got Joe, and people tend to forget. And so if we're forgetting about it a little bit, the players on the island are forgetting it about it a little bit. You remember, sometimes people pay attention to the loudest noises, and they don't hear those little noises. And that's what Joe is right now. He's that little noise where people don't hear it that loud. But then you take away those big noises, you see that little noise stands out a lot. And I think that's what Joe is going to be. And I think he's gonna play well. He's also a challenge beast.
Yes. Yeah. I don't see people targeting Joe anytime soon.
No.
So,
which is good for him. And if he's smart, he keeps Ozzy and Jonathan as long as he could.
Yes.
That way, nobody sees him.
Agreed. And then the other thing, I want to know your thoughts on this, Mike and Heidi. The Billie Eilish boomerang idol that gets sent to Ozzy by Genevieve. I mean, what are your thoughts on these celebrity named idols?
Okay, so Heidi, can I answer that one first?
Of course.
And then actually, we can answer together because I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. As a Survivor player, we're already fans. And most Survivor players, for the most part, we don't think we're anything more than glorified fans who just happen to get on the show. So when we find out somebody like Billie Eilish, Jimmy Fallon, anybody that they know the show and they're that into the show that they want to be a part of it, that means they know who we are. Right. And we freak the hell out like, holy crap, Billie Eilish watches Survivor? She must know who I am. Yeah. At least we hope she does. So I love it as long as it doesn't interfere with the game. And that's not interfering with the game at all. So it's a part of the game that twist would have been there anyway, whether it said Billie Eilish, Heidi, Mike Turner, it didn't matter who it said. So, but it's saying Billie Eilish, and it made us say, holy crap. And even fans, you know, Billie Eilish is just like us. She loves Survivor. Yeah. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah. When Billie Eilish released her song that says something about I love watching Survivor, the players, you know, suffer in Survivor. That was like right after my season, my season was airing. So we were like so excited for it. Okay. Because we're like, she watches us. To your point, Mike, I am in agreement though. I don't want the big names to overshadow the players because you know, all these big names can easily become a thing for Survivor that brings nothing to the game. So as long as they just throw the name there to make us excited that all these celebrities watch us being, you know, ordinary people that love the game. That's why we made it into the game, right? So if it's that way, I love it. I think I am cautious because I did see the promo with all the celebrities, you know, Beast games, like Mr. Beast was there, Fallon, Billie Eilish, all of these, like they did a whole promo just on all of that. And I was like, I'm really hoping they don't overdo it in a way that it takes over from the strength of the comebacks. So as long as they keep it that way, I'm game. Throw all the names you want as long as you don't overshadow the players.
Right, because you don't want it to become, for us, you don't want it to become gimmicky. And if the celebrities are in and they change the way the game is played, it becomes gimmicky. And you know the old saying, we don't want to jump the shark. It's okay that they're there, but keep the game the way it is, which is with this particular one with Billie Eilish. It doesn't affect the game. It's just more of letting us know, hey, Billie Eilish here, and you know, but it didn't affect what was going on, which is what I liked.
Exactly. And I hope they keep it that way, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering how like the Boomerang Idol is going to come into play, if it comes into play, with it being super circumstantial, like someone has to get voted out with it in their pocket. Like I think that's very like I don't know if it's going to happen. It's probably unlikely that it happens.
Now speaking about, you know, what you know, the twist is, if I find that idol, and me and Heidi knows how hard it is to find an idol on Survivor, and you find an idol, and then they say, oh, but you're going to have to give it to somebody, and if they get voted out, you'll get it back. But they can always use it. They can, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they can't give it away, and but they may never get voted out.
Right.
And they may play it. Remember, they could play it. And so anybody, whoever gets it, I'd be freaking fuming. Wait a minute, I found an idol on Survivor, and you're taking it off me to give to somebody else, and now I gotta hope they get voted out? What if we wind up in a merge tribe, and now I'm in an alliance with them? Now I gotta make a decision whether I get them voted out, or do I tell them? What am I gonna do? I mean, it makes for great TV. As a player, though, I am fucking pissed that I have to give up an idol for such a reason.
Yeah. Or imagine if you're Genevieve and you get to swap and you're with Ozzy, and then Ozzy plays the idol and sends you home. That would be crazy.
Yes.
You're the one who
But
found
worst
it.
nightmare.
That's great TV, though.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know what the thinking was for Genevieve to actually give it to Ozzy. That was actually maybe like the part that I was a little questioning, like, okay, why Ozzy? I don't think they gave me enough information to tell me why him.
Right.
So if I'm Ozzy, I'm like mega excited. He had to do nothing, and he just got an idol, which is kind of that's very unusual for Survivor. You like things coming for free.
Right, that's what Ozzy has to say. Nothing comes for free on Survivor. Why did I get this? There's got to be something else going on.
Exactly.
And I'd be very weary. Or, to be honest with you, I'd use it as fast as possible.
Yeah. But we're starting to see him with some goodies, right? So I hope that he uses them wisely, because I'm pretty sure we saw him leaving with two idols at some point.
He left in Micronesia with an idol. Yeah.
He had one or two. I feel like
It was one. What did McCall left with two?
Yeah, but you know, so I hope that we see him using it in a fun way, because otherwise, to your point, if they merge and then, you know, Genevieve is there, I think she could blow it for him.
Yeah.
100%. And obviously she knows he has an idol.
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth is, it's in her benefit if he does get voted out. So she might not want to get close to him, not work with him, because she's sabotaging her own game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
You know, in retrospect, the twist is good because it creates a lot of variables. And we all know on Survivor, variables are amazing because you never know what's going to happen.
Right. Exactly.
But if I'm Ozzy, I'm like you, I will be questioning what's going to happen.
Why me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then let's hit the immunity challenge. So this one where Kyle gets injured, he came out and said in exit press of like, this was like what, the second or third take, and that he was going down to help Colby up, and that's why he got injured. Like that just makes it more sad. Like he was going to help his tribe mate, and that's why he got taken out of the game.
Yeah. I want to give props to the production on this though, because they actually didn't kick him out. They gave him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it looked like, right? That they gave him a chance to stay in the island, even if he was hurt. And, you know, obviously it didn't work out for him. But I do like they were giving him a chance. They didn't kick him out right away.
Right.
Props for production for at least trying that.
Agreed.
I agree. It's sad that he left, but I understand why he did leave. You know, if he was old like me, he was at frigate, I could walk foot with him for a few more years. That's all I'm going to be here anyway. But when you're young and you're just starting out, you gotta make sure you're not going to limp for the next 40 years. So I get it.
Yeah.
And the Achilles one, that's a tough injury.
Yes.
It's not like I sprain my ankle, I'll go through it. The Achilles one, you actually cannot walk for quite a bit at the beginning, and you do. That's a tough injury. So I'm actually glad he went home and took care of it, because that could have been really bad for his future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, normally I'm very critical of guys going home and saying, "Oh, I got to go home." But in this case, young guy, the Achilles, like they said, if you don't reattach it quickly, the longer it stays unattached, can create a permanent damage where you can have a limp. You don't want that. You know, you're a young guy. You don't want that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think he's in a perfect position for this game, so it's awful to see. But I believe he was married after his first season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's a child on the way now.
Yes.
Like, he needed to go home. Like, it made sense for him and his family.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. You know what? He's a good guy. He's not a villainous guy, so you want the best for him.
Exactly.
And as a player, I know you want everyone to get kicked out in some way for you to win, but you never want to see someone get hurt. You want them to get kicked out within the game, not because of an injury.
Wait, Heidi. You don't think it's a little bit of creep that the people's heads are like, yeah, this is sad, but one less person to worry about?
Well, so I had an injury in my season. I can tell you, it hurts with your, it messes with your psyche a little, because you see someone hurt and you actually see them hurt. It's like, oh, that could have been me. So to me at least, it was more on the personal side. It brought me out for a few minutes, right? It brought me out of the game, and you're like, I would have hated if it was me. I would have hated if it was anyone. But once they're out, you're like, okay, one less person. But from that moment, it takes you a little bit outside of the game, because it's more of a personal thing rather than anything. So I could understand people being like sad and crying in his tribe while seeing this, because seriously, I truly don't think you want anyone getting out because of an injury. But do you want less people so you can win it? Oh, of course. I'm super competitive, and when it's game time, I want to win it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I'd be like, I feel bad for you. Oh, well, okay, let's go.
And was there anyone hurt in your season, Mike?
Whatchamacallit? I forgot his. I can't. Got who'd you say? Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson, and I didn't know him at all at the time, so maybe it was easy for me to say. But I remember they were like being upset. I'm saying, like, I'm happy as hell. I don't know this guy. He's gone now. I said, here's one thing for sure I know. I'm not first or second boot, and I'm happy right now.
Exactly.
But I can't remember what happened to him. What happened to him?
He was taking medicine, and he didn't tell him about it, and he was doing without it. So
that's different though, because
Right.
like I remember, like in my season, Bruce got hurt within the first couple hours, first hour, in less than an hour even. He was like bleeding and all that. I just remember seeing it and being a little bit shocked. It brought you to reality, like, oh, this is legit here, versus in your situation, his situation was a bit more of the way he handled the game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's a very different circumstance, right? And then,
but if I listen, I always try to be honest. Even if that wasn't the case, I might have been a little happy. I'm not going to lie. One less guy to worry about. I could sit here and say, "Oh, you're right. That's the reason." But the truth is, I'm competitive and I'm playing the game, and every person there is trying to win that game ahead of me. And if they go, as long as they're going to be okay, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, and I respect it, right? Like, because you're in it to win it, right? So
100%.
Yeah. Last thing I have is then we get the second journey with Colby and Savannah and Mike White. Mike White gets to leave. So we get Savannah and Colby ends up losing his block and losing his vote. And so this means a lot of ramifications for the Vatu tribe, because every that alliance that Kyle put together with like Q and Colby and Genevieve, I mean, they've lost their vote. Like they've lost like 3 votes basically up of what they started off with.
Okay,
Imagine that.
Can we talk about Savannah on that? What they showed of Savannah, she did it great. Like she was really like very humble, which by the way, they never show humbleness from her in her season, right? We were all like, oh my God, this girl. And she was very humble against Colby. Like it looked authentic to me through the TV, but whether it was authentic or not, she was doing the right things to be allies with Colby there, even though they were going against each other. So I give her props because she was handling that super well. Of course, we all know she went back, didn't tell everyone the full story.
Right.
And I think if I'm a player in her tribe and I see her just coming back not losing her vote, I also would have been like, of course we all know she has something else, right?
Right.
Including Colby there. Like, I know Colby left and he's like, oh, it was just that. I also would have questioned they gave her something else that I didn't see. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna work to her best, even if she has extra goodies there. But she handled it very well with Colby.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think she should have said something to like tie it into what everyone saw in season 48, where like when Eva went, it was just Eva, and like she had to do the first thing just to get her vote back, and then she could keep moving to get advantage. Like Savannah should have said something like that. She was like, "Oh, whoever wins gets their vote back," and then there's something else to do, but I chose not to do that. So.
I like that idea.
Yes. You know, that's a great idea, except sometimes your head is so clouded with so many things going on and the rush of the game. And again, it's a quick pace game that it's hard to think of every angle that you can out there. And we know that firsthand because out there was, like, you would do something, goes, damn, maybe I should, 3 hours later, you're laying there, you're staring at the stars and you're thinking, maybe I should have said this instead. It's extremely hard to come up with stuff. And I thought she handled it well. I probably wouldn't have believed her either, but I think she did the best she could under the circumstances. There was so much going on.
Yeah. Did Mike White actually win this journey? Because Savannah has a lot of suspect on her. Colby lost his vote. Did White, did he end up being the winner here by not participating?
I think so. I mean, I don't think
it definitely appeared that way.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to be gunning for Mike White off of this. I think Savannah definitely is going to be a target. And yeah, I think Colby unfortunately lost his vote, but at least like he's insulated, it seems, over there. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm the tribe, it doesn't matter if it's Mike White's tribe or Colby's. I still would have questioned if they have more.
Right.
And for me personally, I don't know. Anything Colby says, I would believe him because he almost seems like he's incapable of lying like that. It's crazy to me, but maybe that's a great game he has, but he just seems like he can't help but tell you what's going on in his head.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like in his seasons, I mean, I feel like the most lies he told were like he lied to Jerry. And like that, I feel like that's like the biggest lie he told in his 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So, so I think that's the premiere. I think we can hit our favorite player of the episode. So Mike and Heidi, who is your favorite player of the episode?
For me, 100% Ozzy. I think Ozzy, to me, showed a different Ozzy than any Ozzy we ever saw before. I'm sorry, I said Ozzy. I meant Oscar. And Oscar was amazing, and we still saw some glimpses of Ozzy. And I'm being serious. I thought from everything that I've known and seen from Ozzy, he came back. He was humbled. He was very genuine in what he was saying. If I'm out there, I believe him 100%. He didn't seem cocky. He understood the gravity of being on 50. I mean, in the opening montage, when Suri was talking, you could see tears coming down his eyes. I mean, Ozzy, to me, is playing the game like somebody that knows this is it for me. I'm going to end my legacy in a way where I want to play the way I think the game, I could be the best player that I've ever been on this game.
Interesting. If I would have gone first, I probably would have said Ozzy, but because I'm going after Mike, I'm not going to pick Ozzy. So I'm actually going to say Christian. And he was in the tribe that lost, right? So we lost Jenna Lewis. So even though maybe that adds for me to pick Christian, because I think being in the losing tribe at the beginning is kind of like it puts you more into the game in a different way. Yeah, it puts you into that perspective of like, oh shit, I better put my pants on before it comes back to us. And I think he came across very lovable, very relatable, authentic. He seems to be getting the numbers in his side. So yeah, even though he was in the losing tribe, I really like what Christian has going for him in that tribe. Even though I think they will lose a few times, I think he may not be the one in jeopardy. I could be completely off, but I really like what I saw from Christian.
And it seems like everybody wants to play with him.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, very good picks from both of you. Shane, who's your favorite player of the episode?
I'm gonna go with Colby because I was waiting a long time to see Colby back, and I was a little concerned like how he would play. And I feel like he really came out like with this fun-loving attitude. I mean, a really good social game. I'm seeing a lot of him this episode. It's not great he lost his vote, but I mean, imagine saying, "Oh, we're gonna see Colby go on a journey." Like, whoever would have thought? So yeah, I have to go with Colby here.
Yeah, Lindsey.
Oh, that's hard because I was also going to say Oscar, but I'll switch it up since you already chose that, Mike. I think one of the reasons we saw the finale of South Pacific as one of the 10 episodes CBS portrayed is we're out to see the evolution of Oscar. So that being said, I also think we're going to see the evolution of Coach. So I'm going to take Coach.
I like it.
Yeah. I will follow Shane. I had Colby as mine. I just think his mindset is so much better than in All Stars and Heroes versus Villains. I think even Jeff came out like and released like his thoughts pre-game of like Colby in those seasons, thought he might be in a better mindset, but then was like, disappointed that his mindset wasn't great. And like here we're finally seeing that, and I'm so glad that we got Colby back one more time because I think he needed some redemption from his last two appearances. So
and Jake, before we wrap it up here, I want to point out one extra thing about 50. 50 on average is the oldest season ever in Survivor. Wow. And I am here for it. I mean, in the new era, I love the new era. I'm part of the new era, but it's very young. The new era has been very young. So I think the dynamics for 50, not only because it's 50 and we have a lot of, all the comebacks, but I do think being the oldest season of Survivor ever will also give us different dynamics. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. It's a really good fact. I'm interested to see how that impacts things. So, this has been great. Thank you so much, Mike and Heidi, for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's always a lot of fun with you guys. And you, Heidi, I love talking with you.
I know. I was like, should we not tell Mike? And Jake was like, no, we're telling Mike. But I like your idea where you were going with that, because I would be like, Mike, I'm here.
What the hell?
No, I love you, Mike.
I love Heidi. Heidi's one of the best people I know, and I'm not kidding. She's a good person.
We're good friends.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Tune in next week for more Survivor 50 coverage. We're going to see Ozzy blow up on Coach or Coach blow up on Ozzy, and a bunch of other stuff. So tune in with us next week, and we'll see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey, thank you guys.